Good. Here's the regular unemployment rate in white, and it's down here just under 5%. Great. Here's the U6, which is the ugly unemployment rate, showing more Americans in pain. We all know about this. Here's just before the crash. And because we went logarithmic, on the y-axis, we can look at the dimension of this difference just before the crisis. And then we can move it over here. And Carl Riccadonna, look at this gap right here. That is one symbol of what I'm going to call the Trump gap. There's still a lot of pain out there.
Sure, absolutely. So as Chair Yellen has highlighted on numerous occasions, the standard unemployment rate, the official unemployment rate, doesn't fully get the picture. But Tom, as I look at that chart, I see both metrics moving
in the right direction.
Basically in lockstep, moving in the right direction.
Peter, you've been way out front on this, the constructive vector of the American economy in better jobs. Are we creating higher income jobs as the vector improves, or is it still lousy jobs?
Yes, there are higher income jobs, but let me point out that gap is there partly because we've had a shift toward industries that prefer part-time workers. So this is not necessarily an excess supply. There is excess demand for these kinds of workers. That gap's going to be persistent for a while.
See this gap here, folks? Bring it right back up here again. And again, as Dr. Hooper mentions, it's not just one analysis. There are a set of ideas here about a changing American economy. Brad DeLong out with trade, the death of manufacturing jobs. Danny Roderick at Harvard says, no, it's distributional. It's about we didn't take care of the people in North Carolina. Did we not take care of the people that lost their jobs to trade?
Certainly, a lot of people lost their jobs. There have been firms that have moved overseas, and a lot of firms have moved in. So there have been losers and there have been winners. But I think we're looking now at a bit of a shift. ISM yesterday up pretty strongly. Manufacturing is beginning to come back.
Peter, give me a sense of, so we're hearing a lot more news about, the Trump administration in the past, during the campaign trade, calling the figures that measure, actually, this leading indicator when it comes to measuring unemployment phony. How would you replace it?
Pardon me, Francine,
Peter, we have a story saying that actually the Trump administration have repeatedly called the way we measure employment and unemployment phony. What would replace it?
Well, the Labor Department statistics are probably as good as you can get right now. There are other indicators out there suggesting things are certainly going in the right direction, not just the monthly employment numbers, the claims, unofficial claims numbers have been going down. Yesterday's ISM report on manufacturing. Certainly small firms feeling very good about the labor market, very good about their hiring prospects. So things moving along in the right direction. There's always room to improve these data. You're always going to find some problems. And certainly the amount of funding that our statistical agencies have been getting has been going down, down, down. So yes, there is room for improvement. But given the amount of resources we've put into this now, I think Labor Department has been doing a reasonable job.
Carl, what's your take on, I guess, how we measure unemployment? Are we really full employment, or do we need to look at things differently?
Well, we'll know we're at full employment when we start to get wage pressures to a greater degree. There's some hints of that already materializing in the economy, but unfortunately, wage pressures, like all inflation, is a lagging indicator, so you basically get to see it in your rearview mirror. So my sense is we are very, very close to full employment right now, which is really what changes the performance of the economy as we look to 2017 compared to the last 7 years of this cycle. We've had excess labor slack leading to wage stagnation. That starts to change this year, but don't expect a significant flare-up because, as Peter highlighted with the gaps between the U6 and the U3 unemployment rate, the Phillips curve is flatter. So the old rules apply to some degree, but the bang for the buck you get on inflation from a declining unemployment rate is lower than what it has been in prior cycles.
Okay, so Carl, so you're expecting a jump in average hourly earnings growth. Talk to me about productivity. When does that start to get realigned?
Well, we got whiffs of that, and economists, again, are wringing their hands as to why productivity has been so low. But productivity we can think of as miles per gallon for the economy. And when the input is cheap and labor costs have been cheap in the last 7 years, there's not been a great incentive to push productivity higher. As wage pressures build this year, you're going to see productivity pick up, and I think we got a whiff of that in the Q4 data.